My name is Chibueze Chukwunta. You can call me Troy for short. So, congratulations to everyone that are here. I believe this is really a great step, you know, for us to come. If you're really here, if you're here and you've received the invitation, it means success is around the corner for you. So, that being said, I'm currently studying civil engineering and construction management in Heritage University. I have a background in civil engineering from the University of Nigeria and Soka. I finished the first class and I did my interview in Ibadan. So my interview was on a Wednesday, and prior to that, I had a work. I was working in a um civil engineering firm in Lagos. So I finished my NYC in 2024. Worked for about 9 months, thereabouts. Then, decided to apply to PTDF. Although I'd already done some applications, I did just one actually, one graduate school application that was to Cambridge, um, under the Mastercard Foundation. It was my first tryout to graduate school, but I think what it just helped me do was it's refine my approach to that application process. But ultimately, PTDF was actually my um only shot, thinking about it. So I applied, with utmost belief in myself. Like I didn't I didn't see any way out. It was almost like it's now or never. So when the application came out, I put in my application. Luckily in my firm, there were like two other persons that have gotten the gotten the scholarship. So I really reached out to them, and their experiences helped me to refine my approach. So hearing from them, I refined my structure for my application, provided my SOP, and was now finally invited for the interview. So, before I now went for the interview, I know that I soaked in myself in a lot of videos pertaining to what the interview would look like. You need to really be seeing these things in your mind as you're sleeping so that you just have to act naturally at the end of the day. So once you've just gotten accustomed to what the process will look like, you act naturally. You expect it when it happens for you. So you guys are here is really a great step. Watch more videos, reach out to more people, just internalize the whole process so that you begin to just flow with it. So one thing I applied first of all with petroleum data management. um I was specifically trying to make sure that I'm aligning my course with the oil and gas sector, as at that time, because it's very critical. It's, for me, and from the advice I got from my senior colleagues that had already gotten the scholarship, that was really important, because I think I was already going for another course, but when they refined it for me, they realized, no, 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 this is, try and go for something more oil and gas related. So, because of that, because I chose a different course from my absolute background in civil engineering, although I had some background in, data management. I'm a data scientist. So I decided to now, refine my story. I had to create a different, like a new story. It's your story, but you have a lot of experiences, you have a lot of things you've done, but how do you connect the dots around this, what you've done to this thing you're trying to, go for? So, I mean, I had to get into that, that zone of, oh, this is my background, this is what I'm trying to do. How does it help the PTF? How does this thing I'm trying to do ultimately, help the, oil and gas sector in Nigeria and help the PTDF mandate? So with that clarity, that's how I, went for the interview. And also with the clarity of what to expect. So my interview was 9 a.m. I guess, I think so. So I went a night before, so I'll not like start waking up or going so early in the morning from Lagos to Ibadan. I don't know what the road looked like, to be honest. That was my first time going to Ibadan, so I mean, I just had to plan ahead, you know. Like I think around 5 p.m. The previous day, I took the bus going to Ibadan. Then before that self, I was already searching for, where to stay when I get to Ibadan. Do I stay within the school or do I stay, a stone throw away? Just to make sure that I'm prepared, I'm relaxed, I'm not, you know, disturbed about unnecessary things that doesn't affect my interview. You feel me? So I know that I was asking a lot of people, what are the type of hotels around Ibadan? What are the accommodations within the school? You feel me? So, I mean, I also had to reach out to my friends that are even like currently staying in, University of Ibadan, whether they could house me, just to ensure that I, I was stable wherever I was going to, and I was doing this, on time. But I mean, that Tuesday evening, I reached the University of Ibadan. I tried calling my friends. I actually reached out to none of them, picked. So it was crazy. Just imagine I came the next day, or just imagine I came that Wednesday, planning ahead helps. So finding a hotel to stay was a hassle because it was choked up. It was all booked. I guess maybe because of the whole event, the whole, interview process, or I really don't know. But, finding a place to stay was a hassle that day. I had to now finally stay in the alumni hotel, which is like a guest house for the students or the alumni of University of Ibadan. I paid for a night, then slept. Yeah. But I think when I finished, settling in my hotel that night, I kind of like went around and kind of asked questions, where is this location within the school? Just ask the receptionist, just so that the next morning I'm not like acting confused on where exactly I'm going, or, you know, it kind of keeps me informed, feel me? So that was what I did the night before. Knew where my interview hall was, knew if there was a bus that had to take me there, or is it a walking distance, just I'm prepared and everything. So yeah, so I mean, that was that. And before you even come, you also make sure that you're coming with your documents, coming with the right documents. So I came with documents that were stipulated in the mail, and anything I needed to show or prove um whatever I'm trying to claim. Like, for example, I am a data scientist. I came with my data science certificate, so that when I'm trying to explain the fact that I want to study petroleum data management, I can show them that, oh, CEO, I have a data science certificate. So this backs up my claim of me wanting to do petroleum data management. You feel me? So in as much as um I came with my degree certs, I came with my work results, also come with anything you feel would back up any claim you want to make, you know, during your interview. So I came with those documents, originals, and if you can make a photocopy, fine. But don't make a lot of papers for no reason. It's just the clutter your head. So I mean, that was nailed down on my end, in terms of documents, and you should do that like you should be compiling it steadily, not a day before or the time you're trying to travel, because you might just forget something and you will not know. Um so that's that. So on the main interview morning, um I I mean I wore a suit. So if you can dress sharp, you boost your confidence. I wore a suit, but I didn't wear like three-piece suit, just the tie and the outer jacket. So, but if you can really wear a suit, wear a suit. It helps your confidence. Um, I wore a suit and stepped in, went to the hall. I mean, I got there one whole roll of the seat was already occupied. I'm like, when did these people come? you know. But I mean, just sat down, you know. Now you now understand that you're in competition with everybody here. But at the same time, you know, communicates, learn from everyone's experience. And that's when I now realized, this person sitting next to me has even won the PTDF scholarship for his masters and is applying for his PhD. In my head, I'm like, this guy, me that is still coming for masters, rest, But what I'm trying to say is when you're just there, try to not stay alone, like interact. It helps you to ease up the tension. If you meet someone, talk to them, share your experiences, share what it is in your SOP. You might be surprised. There may be something that will just give you an insight or just guide you a little bit in how you should present yourself. So don't stay secluded, don't stay alone and I'll not talk to anyone. To not help you. Talk, interact, play, have fun. You've prepared before now. So you're not trying to just be all rigid. It's with that rigidity that you still enter your interview and probably, flop it. So stay fluid, stay flowy, so that when you now finally get to the interview, you're in that chatty, joyful spirit that people like to receive. So I mean, that's how I did it. I was very, very jovial with the people I met. Luckily, I met a guy that stayed in my hotel the previous night. So, or was it that morning? I can't remember, but I kind of met someone that I had already met the previous night on that day. So I'm like, so we haven't coming to the same place. So it made a lot of sense, it's from that point that we kept up, interacting, sharing our experience and all that stuff. So I arrived early on my end, but they didn't start early, But what they just started was mainly some form of registration just to confirm the people that came and the details are correct and all that stuff. So, but at the beginning I was thinking, oh, this is the interview. I didn't know that you're just saying, the long roll call of us being, registered. Then afterwards, I think we waited for like probably 2 hours thereabout, to 1 hour thereabout, before they now started like calling each person into different panel rooms. Um. So yeah. So I mean, while you're waiting, you'll be having a lot of tension. You'll be having a lot of feeling so you don't know what to expect. But within that moment, understand that there are two things happening. You have something they want and they have something you want. Show them what they want and they'll give you what you want. You feel me? Show them what they want. They want someone that would really bring value to the oil and gas sector. Show them that. It can be that you're brain smart. It can be that you've showed depth of knowledge. It can be that they're convinced by what you sell to them as a story. So show them what they want and collect what you need from them. So have that mindset. Don't feel like, oh, this is one-sided. No, it's two-sided. It's a transaction. So give them that they want and collect what you want from them. So I mean that helped. That was the mindset I was going with. I'm not trying to act selfish. No, you're trying to realize that there's something they are looking for. So give them what they are looking for. So you know the at the end of the day we are like arranged. The way they arrange us were you go like five in a group. So like three people will be waiting. One person will be like waiting at the, let's say, entrance. Then the other person will be like sitting in the panel group. So as one person is answering, you're probably hearing the conversations and the laughters happening in the room as you are like waiting in the waiting room. So I mean, you feeling that way will make you feel like you like being there and hearing the laughters will kind of reduce the tension you might be feeling, because I mean it's not that hard. They're laughing, they're having fun inside. So why are you feeling tensed? You feel me? So, but ultimately, you should just realize that it should be a conversation. You're not coming in there to be answering questions. It's a conversation. You're not just saying yes, yes, ma. But I mean, if they talk to you, you respond. Almost like a conversation. It should be two-way, you know. So when my turn eventually reached, um, before my turn reached, actually, I was already feeling dry-throated. I asked one of the assistants for water. Then, she gave me water and I went in. Um, I mean, you don't sit down before they tell you to sit down. Very polite gesture. They said, please sit down. And I sat down. So tell us what's on your SOP. I already started bringing out my documents to show them, because I had all my documents. I brought out my SOP, brought out my certifications. And they now, I think I submitted like three certifications, but two were student certifications, but they rejected it, that they wanted only graduate certifications. So I submitted only my GMNSC certificate, then my awards, and my of professional certifications, like my data science certification. So asking me, oh, what's on your SOP? And I'm like, I narrated the story. I'm telling them what they want, internalize based on what I've internalized, and based on how I, know what they want. You need to sell the story of, this is what you want to do, or this is your background, this is what you want to do, this is why you want to do it, and this is how it will benefit them. You know, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to study petroleum data management. And why do I want to do it? Because of the inefficiencies I've observed in the oil and gas sector. And when I finish this, that's why I want to now study this course. And when I study this course will help me now come back and help them solve their problem. So this thing, they are listening and realizing that, oh, this guy is helping us. So you're not trying to, oh, you like this course so much, this course is your best course. No. How does it help them? So make sure that you are really clear on the fact that you're trying to help them. Come with the mindset that you're trying to help them, not you. You're not, they are the ones important now. So how do you help them? Then get what they have to give you. So that was how I sold my story to them. But then they now ask me, you have a background in civil engineering with a first class, for example. Why are you trying to go to, for that matter, sorry, why are you not trying to go to civil, petroleum data management? But I mean, I had to, I expected these questions, judging from the fact that while my prior experiences, I've worked as a project manager. I've now done something in data science, so I was able to connect that experience together as something to sell to them, that I have the prior, I have the requisite background, I have the requisite knowledge to undertake petroleum data management as a course. It's not like I just don't have anything to back up my claim. So I mean, that made sense to them. But ultimately, they did not ask me any question concerning the course I intended to choose. They now went ahead to ask me, you know what? Tell us what is a beam. Tell us what is a column. Tell us how these receive forces. And I answered. Then they thereafter now asked me, what is my plan afterwards, So I still narrated what is in my SOP, saying that when I finish from school, I intend to come back to work in companies like Seplat, Shell, and the rest of them to, uh, pull back what I've learned. So all this should be the flow in your conversations with them. You're not trying to say things that they don't want to hear, and you're not trying to, act as if it's you, selfishly. You should always act in their favor. Whatever you think they'll want to hear, you know, bring that out. Say it, sell your story, sell, the value you're bringing to them. And I believe, these are the things that will improve your chances, on your own part. So I mean, when I finished, it was really chill. One more thing is, I think that people had issues with was their original WAEC results. Always try to get original WAEC results. I mean, from WAEC portal, not the one you printed from, maybe, I don't know, not the white copy one, but the one that has the the stamp. So that really affected a lot of people I know that that was interviewed that day. So yeah, that was it. Then afterwards, to be honest, you just need to now lock in on prayer because you've done your best. You now have to leave the rest to God. So if there's any way you like to praise, any way you like to, manifest, if there's any way you like to claim what's yours, that's what you now do afterwards because you really don't have anything to do again. There are a lot of dependencies right now, from the fact that you may not be a there are people that are competing with you in the same state, so the dependencies are now very crazy. But if you do your best, I believe success is on the way for you. So yeah, that's what I have.